Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. The JAMODI podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products. Coach, you've had quite a bit of success there. 2021 state champs, 2022 state runner-up. What's something that makes your program different?
A lot of things, but I guess if I had to narrow it down, it'd have to be our school board, stability, no drama.
Yeah.
Let the teachers teach and the coaches coach. An outstanding administration, outstanding.
Wow.
So you have people who know what they're doing and why they're doing it at the top. And so I think that separates us. I really do. I think that separates us because of our leadership from the top down. And that's why, like I was saying earlier, I mean, it would have to take something really like, Jeff Evans gets the head Division II job at wherever, and he says, Coby, let's go, man. What are you waiting on?
That'd be hard to say no to right there. That'd be hard to say no.
I'm going to have to flirt with that. But the point is that what separates us here is that there's secure people. There are secure people that are doing it for the right reasons, and it's all 100% about the kids, 100% about the kids. So we've all been in school systems where there's drama. They have school board comes in and they have an agenda and everything gets sent crazy. Or you get a new administrator and they got a big ego and they're going to tell everybody how they're going to run the show. And I know where we're at. I know where our administrators are at. I know where our school board's at. And for me at this point in my life, I don't like a lot of fluff. I don't like any drama that's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Let's just get to the point of why we're doing what we're doing and stay there forever. Just stay there. And that's one thing about Texline that not only myself, very little turnover, coach. Very little turnover. Who you saw last year, you saw them 2 years ago, you saw them 3 years ago. There's 40-some souls in there pretty much marching to the same beat that we're all kind of running as one. Like it's almost like we're caught in 1987. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like
that's a good place. Yeah.
Like it's a time warp.
Yeah.
Like some of this chaos is not really infiltrating our camp. We still have a Halloween carnival deal that, it's something that you could have saw in the movie Hoosiers with inside of a little gym and inside the school, they got all these booths and, kids and their parents are going around and throwing apples or apple pies at the principal or whatever. It's just a cool place to be. And I'm thankful I have, one of our grandsons is going to school there because it would be hard to beat that. And so I think that's probably the key thing that separates us. That in terms of the leadership point, and then I think kind of how we play, the style that we play. I think that helps us as well. It separates us a little bit.
And I want to get into that in a little bit. Yeah. But I think one thing you said is unique. I haven't heard that about the leadership, the school board. I've never heard that answer, or I have heard that question answered that way. I wonder how many coaches, when they're putting their names in the hat for jobs, investigate to that level. Like, I think, you find out, hey, how much talent do they have coming back?
Yeah.
Like, how are the players, but you go that next, because if you're really going to a place to think, okay, is this job the one I could stay at for a long time? You got to investigate things like that, right?
I think so. I wouldn't have 20 years ago. I'm just now being in schools where there was a lot of drama, where there was instability or maybe lack of leadership. It drains you.
Yeah.
Like it takes energy away. Like it's like we don't need that. Like you don't need to have energy dispersed to places where it doesn't need to go. You need all your energy going boom where it needs to go. And that's true as teachers, whatever job you're doing, whatever that may be, I think you have to have that kind of support, and that kind of confidence and stability. And yeah, it's not something that most of the time coaches are going to look into. But I can tell you this, if you want to be 100% yourself, you need people that are going to back you and they got to trust you. And that's hard to create that in a short period of time, whether it be an interview process or whatever. I mean, you're assessing them, they're assessing you. You know, you want the job because you feel like you got a good chance to win or whatever it is that you like about the job. But probably rarely do you really go into a deep dive about what's the stability, the leadership character of the administration, and what about the school board? How much turnover is there, and is there somebody in there rattling their chains, chasing an agenda that could be really, you could be doing a lot of things right, coach, and you could find out you got fired.
Yeah.
Like, what? You know what I'm saying? It can happen, you know, and it could be just something as simple as one of the school board members' kid didn't get to play and they have a loud voice and they dominate the meeting. So I think those things factor in. They factor in with me. And again, I think that's a humongous part about what makes Texline a good place to work.
And I don't think it's bad for coaches to have higher aspirations. I mean, just in the same way that our players do. We'd love for our players to, if they're freshmen, to want to make JV, to want to make varsity. I love when guys want to play after college. And you see coaches at every level that where they're at right there, it's not their final place. They want to keep moving. Nothing wrong with that. But what you're talking about, too, is a great, I think, a good reason to make the big time where you are.
Yeah.
Because the place that you're wanting to get to. I mean, I don't want to use his name, but I was talking to a legendary coach in this part of Texas. We were playing each other. He was at a new place, but he had been in another school for years, 20, 30 years. And he even let me know, he's like, you know, I was ready for a change, maybe something bigger. I thought this was going to be a really unique. After a year or two, I realized, like, why? Like, why did I leave? What did I do? And he's like, I would like to go back. I mean, I don't know. Personally, if anything does ever change here, I don't want to have that regret when I get to a new place or realize that, man, faith really was the big time. I think in that whole idea of watering your grass, right, to where you're at. The grass isn't greener, water your own. But just good reminders, I think, from you.
Well, I just want to say this, Coach, that every place I went to this day, I'm grateful I was there. Whether it was a good experience or maybe not as good as an experience, relationships are there. They'll always be there. There's relationships from every stop along the way. And I've moved my kids and 3 dogs and 7 cats and a rabbit more than once. Like long space, like long miles, like from Farmington, New Mexico to Houston. From Houston to Clayton, like wanting to find the place. But while I was at the place, it was like, let's go. Like the same, like not necessarily trying to get. Now, I did want to get to the highest level of high school. I really did. And then it was like, I really loved it in Houston, but it was really, my wife's from Nebraska. And so the pace of life in Houston, Texas, compared to Bayard, Nebraska, or even Clayton, New Mexico, like it's really difficult to adapt to that. She's going that way. I'm going that way. Our kids are over here. If something happens to our kids, all right, who's going to go and take care of them? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm with you on the, you know, coach, and you have aspirations. You want to improve and try to climb the ladder. I'm certainly not, saying that that's not a positive as well, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.